You're in tune to the FuseBox Radio Broadcast.
Turn the music up inside my session. These folks gotta hear my message.
Bringing balanced black radio to the masses.
What's up, everybody? This is DJ Fusion of the syndicated worldwide FuseBox Radio Broadcast, bringing a balance back to black radio each and every single week with a mix of old and new school music, commentary, and more. This week we got a special podcast which features audio from the Emerald City Comic-Con 2018 panel, Black Heroes Matter, which was moderated by David Walker, who's behind Luke Cage and Planet of the Apes, that included actor Phil Lamarr, Maisha Hines, Sanford Greene, Taneka Stotts, and more, which got into a whole bunch of things in regard to the roles of black people in science fiction, fantasy, comic books, and more, and their particular impact on society, which became even more important because of the obvious Black Panther movie dropping the success that it's had. Folks can check out more of what went down at Emerald City Comic-Con at their official website, emeraldcitycomiccon.com. You can check out a bunch of FuseBox Radio broadcast happenings at our official website, FuseboxRadio.com, FuseboxRadio.com. So give this joint a listen, check it out. We got plenty more content coming down the pipeline, and as always, thank y'all for your support. If you like what's going on down with the FuseBox Radio broadcast, you can go ahead and give us ratings on your favorite podcast app of choice, and we're going to keep it moving, all right? FuseBox Radio, Black Heroes Matter panel over at Emerald City Comic-Con. Peace.
Some people might find that redundant. I do not. I am not going to start by having a conversation about why Black Heroes Matter. I'm assuming if you're here and you're interested in the topic, you agree. So we're not going to spend the next 45 minutes at convincing you. If you don't agree, there's the door. Okay, be that as may. I do want to talk about Black Panther a little bit, because one of the things that, besides it making $8 trillion gazillion dollars, was it time for that? It's obviously making an impact, and there's also movies like, Get Out, which is not a musical, which, obviously by its numbers, and it's up for, an Oscar, making an impact, but we're still having these discussions that, diversity is not necessary, diversity is redundant, diversity is, SJW nonsense. I'm just reading my timeline. But what I want to talk about is Black Panther in its effect on what we've seen, and where do you guys think we can go from here, how it affects independent comic book creators as well as actors and the work that we're going to see. So now that Black Panther has exploded, what do you guys think? Is it a flash in the pan, or is it the black excellence that we always knew that it was? What do you guys think? How do you think it's going to affect each of your mediums or our mediums?
Well, for me, actually, it was amazing. After the movie, my parents immediately called me afterwards, and they wanted to know everything about Black Panther, including the comics. Like, my 50-plus-year-old parents were just like, so what do you know about Black Panther comics? Do you know where I can get them? Do you know where it starts? Like, the fact that, these are people who, they'll see the Marvel movies, but they have no interest in, actually reading the comic books. But now, suddenly, you have people who are being brought into the fold of, the entire world that they hadn't realized before. They're thinking, hey, this kind of stuff not only reflects me, but, there are people who are making these movies about us. There are people who realize that not just we have a voice, but also we can be engaged in it, just as what we were previously casual fans, or maybe not even fans at all before. So I think that's amazing.
Anybody else?
I love that the term colonizer has now entered the mainstream.
Oh, wait, are you kidding? In every meeting now, I'm like, are you done? Are you done? And then I bark. No, I'm kidding. I would so be a Jabari. It's not even funny. Oh, wait, no, I wouldn't. They don't like technology. Never mind.
Yeah, what I hope to see now is that, the stories we tell, it's okay to get specific about an experience. yeah, just that. Like, it's, it's okay to, Black Panther is a universal film, I think, but it's still kind of a very specific experience. It talks about a very, specific relationship, the relationship between Africa and the diaspora. And that's something we've never seen on this level before. And I'd love to see more of it. I'd love to see us have that dialogue in different cultures as well. So, hopefully this is, and, it's important as well that we have social media. Like, this is happening in a time when we have technology that we can have a global conversation about these things. And so hopefully this is a flash in the pan. This is for momentum that we're going to carry into more films, more media.
Don't hate me.
Ryan, if you say you don't like this movie, you're getting jumped. You know what
Don't throw any tomatoes at me yet. I have not seen Black Panther.
No. That's he's working. He's a working artist. No. I thought he was going to say he didn't like it.
Hey,
I'm just letting you know we're spoiling all the things because you late.
Right. I'm 1/16th Jamaican, so I got like 15 jobs.
Yeah.
I don't have time to go to the movies a lot. I'd probably.
But this is the one movie that I'm going to need
I
you to
am.
see. And
Trust
I'm going to
me.
need you to not watch
Sanford
the
already
bootleg,
grilled me
okay?
on this.
Well, no matter if you saw it, you bought a ticket though, right? Just keep buying tickets.
You got an actor next to you. You got to fix that.
I had 2 separate people buying me tickets and I turned them down. They were too busy.
Okay.
That's okay, as long as we got the money.
No, we can fix it. Okay, Ryan, what you doing after the panel? Because there's a movie theater up the street.
I was just told that 20 minutes ago. So,
we could knock you out and do it. I'm just saying. Wake up and be in the movie
I
theater.
will see it. Don't worry. Trust me, I will see it. And I won't wait to watch it on Netflix.
But you do understand the phenomenon around.
Oh, trust me.
Okay.
I've been here for in this industry 20 plus years, and the growth that I've seen, and the changes that when I first came in, I never really thought about it too much about like, oh, look at these Black characters. I just thought of them as just like normal characters until years within the industry, and I started hearing the narrative going around from different groups of people talking about certain Black characters and this and that. And I remember even seeing like the token Black guys. Like you'll see like a cast of this superhero team, and then some one guy it's like he's there to like make the Black people happy or something. I kind of saw it, and to me, that's when it really started to play in my mind. Like, okay, what's going on here? There's something really going on. And my explanation on this is because I grew up kind of sheltered, really religious. I grew up in the Caribbean, so I didn't really have the experiences a lot of Black Americans have until I literally came here to America and I started slowly to see.
But you know what? This is why I think you're gonna really like the movie, and I'm gonna let Phil answer, and then I'm gonna come back to your answer.
No problem, because
I'm gonna tie this into
this.
Phil, what do you think? And answer as Jon Stewart. No, I'm kidding.
No, this movie is incredibly significant on a number of levels. My hope is that it will be the Harry Potter. Because, Harry Potter made people read books. People who weren't reading before Harry Potter said, I'm going to start doing this. And it is potentially a game changer on that level. Like you were talking about, your parents were saying, hey, let me read these comics. It could help, it could affect the comic industry in that way. My worry is, having been in Hollywood for 30-some years, I know that the people in the positions of authority generally learn the wrong lesson.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to think, what are they going to get wrong? Sandals. Heroes have to have sandals. Yeah, they're gonna. So they're like, no, we're going to recut the ending of Deadpool and put him in sandals. It's like, no, that's not the point.
All the Black hookers in this movie will be bald.
Don't worry, cut the hair. But to me, the real, true significance of it is the way this movie is great is what I mean when I talk about diversity. Because to me, diversity is not just about rainbows. It's about quality. I mean, the reason we want different perspectives, different representations, is because it increases the likelihood of shit being good. I mean, there's a reason not every superhero got bit by a radioactive substance. It's like, well, there's Spider-Man and Batman, and they all have different origins because we all want different stories. You can't just tell the same story over and over again and have it be good. At some point, it becomes, diminishing returns. So, the more you add into it, the more diverse cultures, the more diverse perspectives, the more. I mean, that's the thing. It's like even when it was all white guys, there were different perspectives.
Right, and that's what was so beautiful about the movie is that there were different perspectives, and I love talking to people who say it wasn't diverse. Now, coming back to Ryan's comment about being, at least I was going to say first gen. Were you born in Jamaica, Ryan, or were you born here?
Actually, that's a Jamaican joke. I'm actually from the Virgin Islands.
Okay. Why are you fronting them?
Because Virgin Islands don't rhyme with nothing.
People say, "What part of Jamaica you from?" I'm like,
wait, what part of the Virgin Islands? What part of the Virgin Islands?
By the beach.
You trying to tell me you know more than one part of the Virgin Islands? Like you gonna say someplace you know?
No, it might because my mother's from Bermuda, and we were always ignored. That's what I was gonna say.
I'm from St. Croix, Virgin Islands.
There you go.
Born in Christiansted, grew up in Frederickstead.
There you go. Because everybody's dad has
I
a
literally
city
just
there.
live by the beach. Honestly, it's like every day I was on the beach hanging out.
Yeah, no, Bermuda's the same way. The entire country is the entire country is 5 miles wide. I would run away once a week. She'll be back. I grew up in Jersey. My mother was born there, but I spent a lot of time there when I was younger. I'm bringing this up for a reason. When you talk about diversity, someone looks at me and they say, "Oh, black woman from Brooklyn." But my mother is from Bermuda and my father is from Jacksonville, Florida. So in terms of my family, I'm considered mixed. But that doesn't. But see what I'm saying? That's something that doesn't happen when you come here. So Ryan can relate to this. But these are the kind of things that I'm talking about when I'm talking about the diversity in Black Panther, because each of the different, even if you're going to look at for the movie itself, the different tribes, the water tribes, the merchant tribe, the priests, everything, they're different tribes and they're all represented within the country of Wakanda. But then if you're going to look at the actors, it's diverse. Lupita Nyong'o is Kenyan and Mexican. Taneka Stotts was born in Iowa, raised in Zimbabwe. Florence Kasumba, Move or You Shall Be Moved. She's Ugandan and German. To me, that's diversity. There's like 7 languages that were spoken on that set. And then John Connie, who is the oldest, which is what you do, he is from South Africa and he speaks Xhosa. I can't click, don't ask me to. But that is the language that they were speaking in the film. So and then Letitia Wright is from Guyana. Caribbean, not an island. That's an argument that I have. But I'm just saying, that's diversity. And that's the diversity I'm used to seeing that nobody else recognizes. So that's the kind of thing, and the different stories and the different levels that are in the movie, like, obviously the female agency is wonderful. But the fact that like you said, it was a well-told story, but it was an ensemble cast, and everybody had an important part to play. How often do we get to not just see, you guys are all creators, how often do we get to create characters that are different levels?
Every time I get a chance, I try to squeeze something in. Like I was literally, I'm drawing Vampire Hunter D right now, and
I'm gonna need you to say that a little bit louder though.
Vampire Hunter D. And I'm trying my best to put like dudes with dreads in the background.
All black women.
Little things in there, and here and there. So.
How about you? Well, at least for my own webcomic, it was important for me to have a black female lead but it was also important for me to have more than one Black female character. So, because, so often it's like having just one, therefore has to represent like the whole of it. But the fact that I have, like a Black female character who is fat, that's my lead. But also I have a Black female character who is trans, because I feel like there's not enough of, we have just the one, which makes you think that, okay, so therefore all of the character, she's representing all of the Black girls. She's not. There's so many different kinds of Black girls, and it was really important for me in my story to have, like, even if it's just two characters, you can't therefore consider, like, she's representative of the whole. She's not.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's really important even within our own communities. You and I were talking about this yesterday. Can't tell you how many even Black panels I'm invited to speak on, and I'm the only woman.
Right.
So the diversity within our own thing. Well, there's more of us, right?
Yes.
Well, but also, I mean, historically in the Black community, there is a pressure to be the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you are the one among them, there are certain things you can't say, you can't act, you can't, you become limited.
Yes. Now, actually, to that end, let's talk about villains a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because, so there's many times that a lot of people don't like the Black villains because they don't, like, no, we can't always be seen like that. I don't have a problem if there's a Black villain as long as there's more than one person of color, Black person in the film. I don't mind those levels. We're not Highlanders. There can be more than one.
But your mama and your grandmama would say, no.
Yes, you're right.
You can't do that.
It's a generational thing. You're absolutely right.
We have to be very careful how we present.
Respectability politics,
Yeah, okay. Now, let's talk about that a little bit, because I think when we engage in them, there's a lot of talk of respectability politics. What do you guys think about that? I know Ryan didn't watch Luke Cage because he don't watch anything. Did anybody else watch Luke Cage?
Yes.
I've seen Luke Cage.
You did? Oh, okay. So, because it came out 2 years ago. You are Jamaican. You wait. But the respectability politics. For those of you who don't understand that term, who would like to sum that thing up?
I'm one of the ones who don't understand this. You better explain.
Oh, damn it, Jim. Okay. No, actually, you explain.
Okay. Well, I guess the way I would explain respectability politics is sort of like the idea of, in order to be an upstanding model Black person, you have to present yourself in a certain way. And if you don't, then you're embarrassing the race, which is
like what your grandmama would think.
Right.
But there's now a phrase for it. It's what all the
exactly.
All the kids are using this term.
Right.
But yeah, the first time I heard it, I was confused. And then when I heard that description, I was like, oh, right, my grandmother. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. The older generation, that's kind of like, well, you have to, like, you can't look this way, you can't talk this way, because if you do, then you're giving us a bad name.
And to be very specific, it means acting whiter so that we fit in with white people better.
Right, which becomes very confusing for those of us who are from immigrant families who move into neighborhoods that just happen to have a house that's affordable and don't realize it's a white neighborhood. And so then you grow up with this respectability politics thing actually put on you. And I'm bringing this up because there's a lot of people of color in geekdom.
Wait. What do you mean acting whiter?
And looking whiter too, like...
No, let's go back to the acting whiter, because this is this conversation I had the other day about defining Blackness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because there's outside definitions and there's inside definitions. Mm-hmm. And both can be equally toxic.
Yes, they can.
Is Cat Williams here? I was having a conversation about...
For those of you who don't know who that is, that's a pet named Slickback. He remembers.
Right. No, but there's this thing that, Black, to be real, keeping it real, keeping it 100, keeping it, Black means, that you can't be educated. And if you're educated, you're white. And to me, that is as much a slave mentality as anything else. I mean, that's internalized oppression,
No, but at the same time, this is where I bring up Black people. Because
yes.
A lot of Black people, like myself, who grew up with, with a certain standard of excellence in terms of education and things like that. And my mother is from a British-owned colony. I could have lived in the BJs. I was still going to speak the way I was going to still speak proper English because I was raised by a woman who's taught the King's English. This is how it was in my house. But so often we are judged by our speech. How many times have we been asked or told by people outside of our race, "Oh, you speak so well"?
Yeah. Right.
That happened to me in high school. This one
That happened to me too.
black girl came up. She's like, why do you talk white? And I was like, what do you mean? Why do I talk white? I'm just speaking English because I just came to America and I'm just speaking. And she's like, why do you talk white? Right. You know, so that was like one of the first like elbows in my head that made me like say, okay, what's going on here? How should I talk? Am I pronouncing my R's right?
But then you dropped your accent real quick.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They trust me. I've been bullied multiple times by my accent. So I was like 14 years old.
So let's flip the script a little bit. I probably said that wrong because I got blank. The concept of not being down and not taking care of your own and trying to aspire to be something that you're quote unquote not supposed to be. Well, let's talk Killmonger for a minute. So Killmonger in this movie, Zargon, and all the things. Killmonger in this movie. Now here's the thing. Killmonger, I feel like Killmonger had the right idea, wrong execution, and there was too much personal pain torn up in that. He's a very, very tragic character. But Killmonger would be the type of person that would say, like, yo, you know, you're either trying to help the people or you're not. You don't sound or act like you're helping us, therefore you're an enemy. That's kind of the way he was speaking by the end, I believe, when he was T'Challa, like, I'll put anybody in the ground that acts, even thinks anything like you. So that was one of the things that I got from his character. He had multiple layers. Again, and Phil's making a dad face at me, which makes me very nervous.
Well, because it sounds like you're tying political action, acting politically, you know, into, because when we were just talking about how you act, you know, how you walk, how you speak, you know, I don't think Killmonger.
No, we're not supposed to do that, but I think a lot of people do.
What do you mean?
I think a lot of people, especially on social media, will tie in the way you speak or discuss or the side you take in a certain argument on something, even if that argument is isolated, on your entire political, socioeconomic, you know, position. So and that's why I think sometimes that's why I brought up the because I think there are certain people out there that have latched onto him in a certain way.
Right.
That I'm like, did you see the same movie? But I do want to talk about that character for a little bit because we were also talking about villains. Or I will say, I don't want to call him a villain, I want to call him an antagonist.
Right.
So let's talk about Killmonger's character for a minute. Phil?
Yeah, he's Malcolm.
Interesting.
He's Malcolm X, pre-El Haj Malik Malcolm X.
Okay, pre-El Haj Malik. Okay.
You know, he is the militant. He is necessary. You know, without Malcolm, Martin wouldn't got nowhere. You know, and in this movie, without Malcolm, you know, T'Challa never gets to where he needs to be. You know, the thing that I love most about this character in this movie is the quality of it. I mean, he's probably the best antagonist in a superhero movie since Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus. You know, fully realized, fully fleshed out, and you care about him.
You do, and he comes, as my mother would say, he comes by it honestly. There's a lot of his impetus and focus is from his pain, and you see where he comes from. I mean, he was left for all intents and purposes. When he finds out what he was left for, instead of being a narrative, he's angry to be free.
Well, and that's funny because that's to me that's what makes him a quote unquote villain is what you talk about the personal vendetta. Like he has sort of principles, but it becomes very clear very early on that his principles take a backseat to his pain.
Yes.
You know, and that's why he can't be the hero. That's why he cannot be the Black Man.
I was going to say that I remember reading somewhere that, at least to me, this rang true too, is that Killmonger's obviously his methods were less than desirable. And a lot of the way he would get to his point was, like, you don't want to become the new colonizer. But the underlying message was something that resonated enough with T'Challa that, by the end he realized, well, listen, both Killmonger and also Nakia, like Lupita's character, like, they kind of had a very similar through line. And so it was important enough to T'Challa that he realized, like, no, I do think that this message is important. Perhaps his methods were wrong. Perhaps I should be also looking at, Nakia's methods as well, because
I think Nakia, I resonated so strongly with Nakia.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I mean, like, they were underlined, but they had the same point in that, like, hey, we should be doing more. Like, this isolationist mentality is doing nothing for our people. Like, we've just sat here, we've sat by for years and years and watched, all of our people be subjugated all throughout the world. Maybe we shouldn't be isolationists anymore. And, like, both of those characters had that point. And by the end, T'Challa realized, like, perhaps Killmonger's methods were wrong, but the underlying thing he was trying to get across wasn't. So,
What did you do?
Yeah, all of that.
I'm gonna get a full couple sentences out of Nilah and it kills me.
Yeah.
Now, say Jesus wept.
He did. No, Killmonger's like a terrific character, a terrific antagonist. But I loved how they used him, to have that conversation about the relationship of Black America with Africa.
I love it.
It really, living as a Black American in this country, in some circles, you're not really American, and you're so far disconnected from Africa. Like, we don't know what countries we came from, we don't know what tribes we came from, and so you really feel like
our beads upside down. We don't know. We're trying.
You really feel like an orphan, and that that is Killmonger. That is his role in the story. And so I think the way they handled that conversation was so intelligent and just so, it really resonated with me.
It was, and I also feel like I really feel like you couldn't have Killmonger without T'Challa. Even though he was it was his antagonist, I also thought he was almost his mirror image sometimes. Because the thing that people no one really talked about this, and it was something that I saw immediately, was that T'Challa was privileged. T'Challa grew up a prince. He had everything. He never, and it's funny because whenever we use the term privilege, we're in this country, we use it to mean white privilege many times, upper middle class or upper class white privilege. But this is a person who grew up even more privileged than that. So that's another level that he wasn't able to understand. So I think they had things to teach each other. But I saw somebody the other day with a Killmonger was right t-shirt, and it gave me pause. And I'll tell you why it gave me pause. As strong as and everything that everybody said up here about him is absolutely right. I completely agree. But I need y'all to realize that every single woman Killmonger came in contact with, he either choked, killed, or harmed in some way. And so there's an old African proverb that says you pick up one of the six, you pick up the other. So I need you to I was talking to this person, like, I need you to understand that when you say he was right, you're kind of saying he was right about everything. And I don't think Killmonger would have had much room or need for Black women, LGBTQ. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyone that he didn't define as a particular, basically as a cis-het Black male. And that would be a problem.
Well, I mean, because honestly, Killmonger's the villain because he is quintessentially American.
Well,
and that's,
can I get into him?
And it's funny because, I mean, the whole notion behind the isolationism of Wakanda is, what if they get a hold of what we got?
Right.
And Killmonger is that nightmare come to life. Like, They are us. You know, he comes in, it's like basically, if America got a hold of Wakanda, we're going to take over everything. We're going to blow it up, or, you know, fuck it.
Can you imagine 45? Can you imagine 45 with some vibranium?
No, please.
I think that's what he makes. See, it doesn't blow anymore. See that? It turns all sound. I didn't mean the Secret Service.
I'm done with him. No, before he told me putting the suit on backwards and everything, but this is the one thing I do love about this movie, is that all of these discussions that have come out of it. Now, besides that now.
Wait, there's something other?
There's something other
than Black Panther?
Yeah, maybe there isn't, I'm sorry, what was I thinking? Well,
it's George Washington Carver and Black Panther. that's Black history, right?
Here's the thing. I got a chance with Sci-Fi to interview Joe Robert Cole, who's one of the co-writers of this film. And I remember, and I asked him, like, they let you get away with a lot of stuff. Like, you know, when she sat up and was like, you scared me, Colin. I was like, tell me you didn't think that was going to get cut. And he was like, you thought that. But I think what was so amazing, like you said, about this film is that the character study and the fact that I really felt that Shuri and T'Challa were brother and sister. I have brothers, everything she said in them. What are those? I've done it. But the other interesting relationship, there's one that I also had a chance to interview Nilah Magruder, and there is a scene that is missing between her and W'Kabi.
I knew it.
Yes, and that we're hoping, we're crossing everything that comes out. We're crossing everything that comes out on the Blu-ray. Because there's a longer discussion between them about her role and his role. So Nilah Magruder and Daniel Kaluuya of the Border Tribe, and that was those two were interesting. What are you loyal to? Mm-hmm. So, do you when you're doing the work, do you ever say like, I want this character to be for me and I want that character to be for them? Like, have you ever been faced with someone asking you to draw or create something that you're like, I really want this check, and I really don't have it, but this character is going to be a problem. And they're like, that's why we independent.
I hate selling out. Paychecks don't really do it for me. But before at the end of this, I have Black Panther, 3 Black Panther prints in here also. We should probably ask questions to see who gets the right answer. So maybe the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, do we have 5 minutes?
The last 5 minutes.
I thought we had a little more time. We have until 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you scared me. I'm like, what are you doing right now? Answer the question.
I'm trying to give something back.
We will allow them to read something.
So I got something to give you guys at the end of this. I hope you guys like this Black Panther. And the original art piece I just did right now. I'm selling. I'm a salesman. Sorry. It's not for sale, it's free. Guess me. So
the question was
we're back from commercial.
The question was, have you ever been asked to create a character that didn't sit well with you? That you were like, but I need this check, so maybe I'll do this. Or did you not do that? And are you willing to admit it in front of a room of people?
Yes and no. I'm going to say no. I mean, for the most part, all characters I've been given, it's never been an issue to create everything. It's always been smooth. There was one time I had a job that I had to create this cast of characters, and the guy literally wanted me to rip off like the X-Men, and it wasn't like I want you to make a bunch of black guys. It was just you literally wanted me to rip off the X-Men, and I couldn't do it. So that's the only thing I could really say that I ran into that I'm refuse to sell out for your community. I can't.
Okay.
But as far as like something more cultural, I've never really had anything that came across my plate that said like this guy is he's like the most iconic black guy you've ever seen, and he has all the Afro picks and fish in the air.
I'm mad he has all the Afro picks.
I've never had it.
Phil, have you ever been in the booth and somebody wanted you to say a line and you were like, let's try it this way?
I'm trying to remember. I was actually about to throw it out to the audience. Is there anything I just like sold out on? Because I probably don't remember. But I did actually remember one.
Did they want Jack to be boss or something?
It was back on Mad TV. There was a sketch that they handed me, like towards the end of season 2, and it was it just looked like real stereotypical, like dude shaking his booty with an afro, dancing around. I'm like, how racist bullshit is this? No, thank you. But then over the summer, like that thing came back up in my head, like, wait a minute. Because it was sort of a 70s, blaxploitation guy, but like he was now, in his 70s, but he was still holding on to that vibe. There's actually something kind of funny about that. And he's like, and I went back to the right, I'm like, hey, remember that sketch that I threw in your face? I'm thinking about that. Yeah, I think they're actually like, he's like, no, it was just a joke. I'm like, no, I think, and then we stopped and we dug into it, and it actually became this, it was one of being Funky Walker Dirty Talk, which is this character, this sketch, it was like a talk show.
Yeah. There's this dude who is called Desperation Lee. He was from the 70s and he had his big afro and all his beads and everything. And he would walk funky and talk dirty.
And that's all he did. And it became like our little interview show on the show.
I'm sorry, but he's like my uncle.
Right, exactly.
You should call him Jive Turkey or something.
And it was fun because at first I saw the outside of it, and you see things, because we have people in our lives
who
look like stereotypes. But then you realize, but they're a real person. I mean, like, I had an
yes,
uncle.
And they at the barbecue as we speak.
Right, I had an uncle who became a character on Futurama. I mean, he was literally a Baptist reverend named JC. Because they all named JC. And he was every stereotype you could imagine. Couldn't finish a sentence without saying this. You see him in real life, like, damn, man, you eat cliches. But then when you realize that you can embody it in that way, that makes it, grounded and real, like, there's nothing that needs to be offensive, just because of the service.
But I think it has a lot to do with the writing where it comes from.
Right. I mean, I've done a lot of things that just sucked. They weren't necessarily offensive, except on a quality level. But yeah, the thing is, like, that's offensive. I mean, to me, for it to really offend your sensibilities, it would have to be kind of good. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, this is just as bad as every other character in this show. So let's just keep moving.
So now I'm going to try really hard to move on for the last few minutes away from Black Panther a little bit and just talk about now how can we use this newfound, like, your parents show me all the Black Panther everything. And like I had several people, I told several people, if you're an independent comic book creator and you have any people of color, any Black people in your arsenal right now, I suggest you use them because there are now, like you said, there's going to be people out there who miss them. But I also think there's a lot of books and comics and graphic novels and things like that are going to come out, and there's going to be, I think, a light shown on independent creators because of this, because this gigantic, there is a market for this. So how do you think now they'll move differently in terms of their marketing, or in terms of, I don't think anybody up here is going to change the character that they create, but how are you going to maybe market them differently? Or do you think Black Panther is not going to have any effect at all? No. Go ahead, Liza.
Let's see. In terms of marketing, I mean, obviously the stories are different, like what you're doing versus like what Black Panther is, but the idea that, there might be more people out there checking for stories with like Black leads. Like there might be people who are, now this is getting away from me, but there might be people who are now suddenly like inspired to create, like, characters where they maybe might not have been before. Now they're seeing like, look how well this movie is doing, like how excited people are for it, and that might be like the shot in the arm that they need to like find, you know what, I am going to start my comic, or I am going to finally start writing my story, or whatever. It may be the fact that the response has been so amazing, it makes it like so exciting to create, to be out there, to say like, I have a story too. I have things that I also want to like show you. I'm taking from it.
No, I don't know. I don't see anything changing for me specifically. I was already writing for Black Girls and I'll continue to do so. I hope that, more readers and writers will have the confidence to seek out the stories that they love, to, write those stories about their experiences, and also, look for characters that reflect their experiences. But for the most part, it's, just business as usual for me.
So do you think in terms of like direct market, it will affect, like, do you think maybe you'll approach other stores or venues with some of your independent stuff?
God, so, like, I don't know. See, I mean, like, I'm traditionally published, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. They do it.
Nice.
My publisher does it.
This is what happens when you win awards.
Yeah. So, approaching comic shops and bookstores and stuff is not something that I do. Yeah. So, for me, it's just finding publishers that are receptive to those types of stories, and honestly, that's why I write children's books, because children's books are way more receptive to brown characters than mainstream comics are at this point in time. I mean, Black Panther is great. I love that we have this movie in the cinematic universe now. I'd love to see the publishing side of things catch up to us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, there's still only, 4 Black women published at Marvel? Yep. So, publishers still have a lot of work to do.
They do, and then there's still that argument that characters have to don't sell. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they got it wrong a few years ago because they started reskinning everything. Yeah. So it's like, okay, it's like painting a Barbie Brown. Like, we need the writers and the editors to tell the stories. And yes, this panel is called Black Lives Matter, but this also applies to Asian characters, Latinx characters, LGBTQ characters. Like, I have to say this a lot. I had the most recent one with People Rain, and Oscar So White. She said 17 times a day she's got to tell people, like, Oscar So White does not just mean Black people. So a rising tide raises all boats. Diversity, if it's understood properly, everybody benefits. Ryan, what do you think? Do you think the way you push your independent work will change at all?
I really.
Yeah, in the mic.
Oh, my bad.
Thank you.
Well, I've published both independent and with Marvel, DC. So I've seen both sides of things. My independent publishing started a couple years ago. And one of the top things I learned is, you have to know your audience, and you have to build your brand that's going to target specific audiences. Not everyone's going to be into certain things. I might create Bottle Man, and it would sell great to that side of the crowd, but that side of the crowd will just look at it. So you kind of have to know what you're targeted for. So me creating characters, I try to create characters that aren't too pro this or pro that. They're more kind of like balanced in story driven around it's more exciting and more entertaining than trying to prove a point or anything like that. Like I can tell you about a lot of stuff right now. Make myself look cool, but I won't. So I just kind of keep it generic and grand. But I don't know if you will have anything else to add.
No, I was just going to say that in terms of the effect, marketing-wise, that at least from my standpoint,
for your independent projects. I'm not talking about
right.
or anything.
It's a little bit out of my control, but to me, the significance is I'm looking at it historically. Mm-hmm. When I started in the business, the opportunities, in terms of representation, were so limited. I was going out to play gang members, which is ridiculous now. Because it's like, why would you have that guy auditioning for a gang member party? He's the color, But now our understanding has grown so much that it would be ridiculous, But it's all part of this growth. We went from invisibility. Actually, that's funny, because that's on the McDuffie order. From invisibility to inevitability was Glenn McDuffie's phrase about person. And but we went from invisibility to tokenism, to when we're like, well, if there's more than 5 people on the screen, has to have help.
No, there's more than 5 people on the screen, one of them has to die. If you have more than one black person, one has to die.
No, I'm saying if there are more than 5, a group of
people,
5, one of them has to have some kind of help.
That's true.
Nowadays, that just would be weird.
Yes.
But now it's the point of moving to the center of the narrative.
Yep.
Now it's not just being visible, but having your stories be told. And, and at a level of quality. Because Tyler Perry's sitting there watching all these Black Panthers and saying, I've been telling our stories for years. So it's not really about being the center of the narrative as much as the quality of being at the center of the narrative. Like, Black Panther has set the bar. It's basically, to me, the Cosby Show again. Because something came in that was black, but so good that its excellence and its success could not be denied, and it changed the game. And I think this is that same potential. So I'm expecting next year to have a lot more auditions for these.
That would be amazing because I want to see you with Medea. We are out of time, so I'm going to have everybody say where they can be found, and then we're gonna give away your free stuff. Hang on. But I do want to take 3 or 4 questions really quickly. So you gotta get to and she's not playing.
I'm really excited.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Everybody say where they can be found. Phil, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Phil Lamarr, or my personal website, phillamarr.com, or you can check out my independent project, gobblinsanimated.org.
And in April, you can see him at Universal Fan Con.
That's true.
You can find me at orionbenjamin.com. It's pretty easy. Right now, I'm across the street at U11 in Artist Alley, so you can come check out a lot of more stuff I have there. And I also have a brand new book on Webtoons called Brothers Bond. You guys should go check it out.
It looks like manga. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You can find me at NilahMagruder.com. This weekend, I'm in Artist Alley as well. My table is P11. And on Sunday, I have a signing at the First Second booth in the exhibit hall at 1:30 p.m. The booth number is 1602.
You can find me at MaishaHaynes.com. My webcomic is at thesubstitutescomic.com. And I also have a booth over at Artist Alley. I'm at W6.
And I am the Blur Girl. You can find me at the Blur Girl all over the place, but y'all know I get mail on Twitter. I am on the weekly on the podcast Who Won the Week for Sci-Fi, and all weekend I am at the Sci-Fi booth up on the 4th floor all the way in the back. So thank you, all of you, for coming and hanging out with us.
You can listen to the FuseBox Radio Broadcast via iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Podcast Addict, and your other favorite podcast players. Check out the FuseBox Radio's official website for our latest episodes, events, and more at FuseBoxRadioOnline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook at Facebook.com/FuseBox Radio Show, Twitter at Twitter.com/FuseBox Radio, and Instagram at Instagram.com/FuseBox Radio. Feel free to contact us at FuseBoxRadio@gmail.com to submit music for airplay consideration,